Florida State and Mike Norvell have done it. They've shocked the country. They shocked us on here as well. We're here to eat our crow tonight. But here, Tallahassee is an absolute movie. I couldn't even go live from around the campus, not even close to it, because internet cellular is shot. Everybody's out having a good time, as they should, because Florida State just took down Alabama in a big time dominating upset in a newly renovated Doak Campbell Stadium, 31-17. With me is Austin VZ, and we're here to give our instant reaction to what was an incredible game for Florida State. And Mike Norvell and the Seminoles begin the season 1-0, and the vibes are immaculate. They're immaculate. VZ, what's your initial reaction and thoughts to this as we see your title down below? If you want to go further with that.
Yeah, listen, I didn't think Florida State had a chance in this game. And to be fair, I don't think a lot of people did. It was one of those matchups where you're like, hey, Florida State replacing a lot of talent, and you're not totally sold on the talent that's coming in. And Alabama, they're returning a lot of production. And even if they're breaking in a new quarterback in Ty Simpson, who I'll say was solid. We can talk about more about him later, much later. Even if you looked through the most, I've used the phrase garnet tinted glasses a lot the last few days. Like, even if I was looking through those as much as possible, in no way, no fashion did I see this game going like this. I could have seen Florida State, hitting a field goal to win at the end, keeping it close the whole way. I did not expect an ass whooping the entire game, and that's basically what it was. Florida State dominated on the ground. They held Alabama's rushing attack to 84 yards, I think it was, off the top of my head. 87. I was
87,
close.
Yeah.
And I did say if Florida State was going to win, it was going to be by controlling the rushing attack. And boy, did they control the rushing attack. Florida State has had a lot of surprising results last year, and it's good to be on the other side of it to start 2025.
It does. So I was in the stands for this game, usually up there in the press box, but with all the national media coming in, NFL scouts, there was not a lot of an allotment for credentials. So I got to be out there with the family. I got to be with Dustin's family for this one. Shout out to the Lewises for letting me come hang with them and just to talk about the atmosphere. I mean, pre-game, the look of Doak Campbell Stadium. It's a beautiful stadium, and it somehow got even prettier in my opinion. I think it looks fantastic. I know everybody was nervous about what it would look like if people are not going to be in their seats and such. I mean, it was slammed there, at least in that new club section area. And noise-wise, I know they eliminated 12,000 seats, but you want to be able to tell. I mean, I would imagine too on TV, VZ, and those here in the chat. Was it loud?
It was loud on TV.
It was deafening. I mean, it affected Alabama. I mean, Florida State. I mean, I haven't been able to listen to the presser yet from Mike and the players, but I would imagine Mike was very thankful to the fan base because they impacted that game quite a bit.
He was. Tommy was. Pretty sure Juice said something about it as well. Yeah, they were all very complimenting the crowd, and you could tell on TV that place was going. and it's like we talked about in the preview. It's gonna be a very violent fan base looking for something, and they got pretty much everything they asked for in the best way possible.
It was, and you had rain coming down that only just riled up Doak Campbell Stadium. More shirts were coming off.
It came at the perfect time too, because Florida State at that point was at 17-7 when the rain first started. And, Alabama was looking to at least get some points on the board before halftime, and the rain just came at the perfect time because they couldn't really move the ball in the way they wanted to, and that crowd was, like I said, that crowd was going.
Oh, it was going, and it was enjoyable. I got to meet a few of you as well. Y'all coming up to say hey to me, and it was great to get to know a few of you. But going into the game itself, ladies and gentlemen, I said it on the show earlier in the week when previewing, and the number one thing that I thought that Florida State, if they were going to win this game, is they're going to have to move some motherfuckers, and they moved motherfuckers.
They moved them.
They moved them, and wow, and that right there. I mean, I don't want to talk about other former coaches that were here and such, but that offensive line That offensive line looked good. And I'll tell you what, the defensive line for Florida State impressed me quite a bit just off of the way that they were playing with their tenacity. They had to set the bar. They had to be the ones that played with a better and higher edge than Alabama. They wanted to be out there more. It looked like Alabama didn't want to play the game. And it just goes to show not only from, Mike Norvell being a good head coach, but also too setting the standard from his assistants, his new coordinators, and also too, to me, what really stood out, VZ, just now that I was able to be down there, I can go and look and see what's happening, and sidelines and timeouts, or I'm like right down there so I can see what Earl Little Jr. is doing. And there's a lot of
Man,
over communication, which I love over communication on a defense. I like it when guys are calling each other, holding each other accountable and such. And that was some Earl Little Jr. The whole entire defense was doing, which I hadn't seen last year at all. And that's how it kind of helped, build to where they were able to have success this afternoon against the Crimson Tide. I think, to me, leadership has definitely grown, and some guards will talk a little bit later about that, those who showed out. But I mean, first quarter, 7-7, VZ, 7-7. You're like, okay, we got a ball game here, and then Florida State scores 10 points in the second quarter. Who do you want to talk about first? It's just open discussion here.
we got to talk about Earl Little Jr. That dude
Mm-hmm.
was flying. He was coming up and thumping people. To me, the play of the game, which really didn't have any impact on the rest of the game, was Ty Simpson got sacked and he fumbled backwards. The center picks it up. Brailsford picks it up. He shoves off James Williams. He shoves off, I think it was Elijah Herring. And then Earl Little
Mm-hmm.
Jr. comes up and smacks him out of bounds.
Yeah.
We didn't have that last year. No one gave a shit last year.
Yeah.
And here comes Earl Little Jr. come making plays. I believe he led the team in tackles. I think he ended up with 9. He had 9 total tackles, 4 solo, a tackle for loss. He was everywhere. Earl Little Jr. was so good. He was night and day difference from the Earl Little Jr. we saw last year. That was basically unplayable for Florida State
Yeah.
last year. And he comes out in this first game against his former team and is, without a doubt, the best player on that defense this afternoon. I don't think it's even a question.
Mm-mm. He got dinged up in the game,
He
correct?
did.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
did I
I
forget if he?
think he kinda just got a little wobbly, I think it was,
Yeah.
but he came back
Okay.
in a few plays later and
Okay, that's good.
didn't miss a beat.
No, that man was chirping on kickoff every time they were rolling out there, man. I love it. I love it. As long as you can back it up, you can do it all day long. All day long. Let's talk about Tommy. It's time to talk about Thomas Castellanos, everybody. Whenever Florida State was looking in the transfer portal, we knew that they were going to likely go for a quarterback. They weren't fully sold on what they had yet behind after going after DJU. They go and grab Thomas Castellanos, who all of us on here were fans of because of what he was able to do at Boston College. He goes and has a bad situation there with Bill O'Brien, wants to be a pro-style quarterback. Everybody knows the whole lingo there on that front. Now you match him here with Gus Malzahn, who, like, it was probably, I would imagine, just salivating and just going like, I can't wait to have this kid as my quarterback,
Yeah,
because that's just the prototype that he likes to work with and run his offense in. And sure enough, it showed today. I thought he did a good job of taking care of the ball. That's number
yep,
one. That's always what an OC is going to say. But also, two, it's just so much fun to watch a guy. You have flashbacks of Jordan Travis, but this guy he's Jordan Travis is special, very special. But Thomas Castellanos is just natural in the way that he can make you bite, and he'll break your ankles, and he'll make things happen out of nothing. It's really, really impressive. And it's no shocker to anybody because he did that to Florida State. He did that 2 times
yeah,
in a row. But for it to happen here and to have that offensive line match with that plain physicality, you have a lot to work with here moving forward throughout the rest of this season, because this is just one game. But I thought Tommy, he shows up for big games in this one. He went 9 of 14, 152 yards on the air. But as I had predicted, he was your leading rusher in this game, 16 attempts for 78 yards and a touchdown as well. Tell me what your thoughts are on Tommy Castellanos and what it's going to look like moving forward with this young man.
we said he had to get above 50 or 60 rushing yards for Florida State to have a chance, and to be honest, Alabama didn't really make an extra effort to contain him, which I thought was a little surprising. Granted, there wasn't a lot of passing situations. Florida State wanted to set the tempo with their ground game, and that's absolutely what they did. But even in those passing opportunities where Tommy got outside the pocket and scrambled a little bit, Bama wasn't really prepared for it, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, yeah. They'd have some guys at there was, yeah, for the most part he'd be kind of wide open with what he'd
Yeah.
want to do, at least get into that second level. Like not a whole ton of prep there for
Yeah.
him, which is kind of shocking a little bit.
Yeah, and I think if you look at his entire game, there's really only one play you'd want back, and it was an overthrow on a third down. I forget exactly when it was, but he he missed someone by 10 or 15 yards. It wasn't even close. But other than that, he played exactly the way you'd want him to, where he was using his legs to extend plays. He was, honestly, a lot of credit goes to Gus Malzahn to making things easy for him. Where he's getting to his first and second read and just throwing it.
Hmm.
It was really brilliant game plan from the beginning with using all these motions with especially with Jalen Lucas, because you kept
Yeah.
expecting the end around, kept expecting, and finally in that third quarter they sent him back out on the wheel and he was just wide open. They've been setting it
Mhm.
up all game. It was good to see them use motion in a useful way because I felt like every time last year when he used motion, it didn't create anything, and
Yeah.
for once, it was working. There was purpose behind it. Um, Great game by Tommy. Great game plan by Gus Malzahn. Um, it was fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's what we were hoping for, at least at the end of the day, at least have it be an exciting, performance and have guys that are out there trying, but for it to work as and excel as it did offensively is really fun to think of because there's guys like Deuce Robinson who had some plays, and you also had, of course, Squirrel White, which was an absolute huge, massive play
Yeah.
for the Seminoles. A great grab, a great throw from Thomas Castellanos as well. You just knew eventually that was going to be coming because that's what they grabbed him from Tennessee from. But great grab from Squirrel as well. But Tommy was able to just take care of the ball and then make it just felt easy, and that's what a good offensive coordinator would do, make things easy for the quarterback, and that's certainly what it was. And I go back to the offensive line here. Well, let me finish off too with on Tommy though. This man held, just like we're seeing here in the comments, he stood on business, and
Stood on it.
he stood on business. He had that interview during the summer, and was saying, Nick Saban's not there to save you, and everybody on College Game Day, except for the GOAT, the man, Lee Corso, who picked Florida State today. Everybody else, Kirk Herbstreit, of course, Nick Saban picked Bama, yada, yada, yada. Uh, this man held on to his word, and it goes to show, too, you can tell. I was wondering, because we're not at practice, we don't get to see the stuff. So I like seeing things that are happening, not specifically really when they're out there on the field. I want to see how they're interacting on the sideline, or when plays are over, what's going on, communication. But you could easily tell that this team really, really respects Tommy,
Yep.
and definitely when he makes plays like that, like he did today, absolutely. And these guys are willing to fight for their quarterback, which says a lot, which he did not have whatsoever in 2024. Offensive line, VZ. I mean, you're facing Alabama. You're facing top tier talent in the country, and this offensive line, it wasn't even average. It wasn't average. This was good play for them. I got to look back at tape and stuff and whatever. We'll dive deep into it, but for the most part, there was a lot of plays where Tommy had a whole ton of time to sit back, and every FSU fan's like, "Man, this is nice. This is nice."
Yeah, there was a couple of snaps from Pettibone that were early, and you could tell that everyone wasn't
Yeah.
prepared for it. Um, but other than that, they were, I won't say flawless because they never are, but there were very few leakages in pass protection. The only one that comes to mind was a design free blitzer, and Alabama just played it perfectly.
Yeah.
Um,
Can't do nothing about
you
that.
can't really, yeah, you can't really do anything about it. But otherwise, Florida State's offensive line held up. I don't remember seeing any rotation in there because I know there was talk about Rizzi maybe getting in there,
Yeah.
and I didn't notice it at first glance. I'd have to go back and
I
look.
didn't either.
Um, they played great, especially in the run game. They were, like you said, they were moving some people in the run game, and that's not an easy defensive line
Hmm.
to move around, even with Tim Keenan out of the game. They were moving people. They were creating holes. They were, especially on those end arounds, because a lot of those end arounds were design counters, and the
Really good
offensive line
blocking
was
from the
getting out there.
outside.
But
Yeah.
the offensive line was still getting out there, like
Yeah.
the Danzy end around. You still had Gunnar Hansen and a guard pulling to create space for him, and they were doing their job at an extremely high level. As I mentioned in the preseason, this should be a good run blocking offensive line, and they proved it in this game for sure.
They did. They did. It was really, really nice to see. And like you were saying, guys going out, doing their assignments off the outside and such. I mean, that just opens up. Definitely when you have speedy guys like Mekhi Danzy.
It's so good to see
Hello.
him get the ball.
Wow. Wow. He's my kind of breakout guy here. That kid, we're going to see a lot of Mekhi Danzy in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. He's an absolute track star as a true freshman. This last spring, everybody, if you didn't know, he did not practice in the spring. Maybe he had like little time here and there to do some stuff, but really entirely he was focused on track, when the ACC championship, like all this kind of stuff. Was going to compete fully in nationals, but due to an injury, he had to hold off on that. But this guy did not have a spring camp. All he had was a fall camp. And just to get out there on the field early in this game was really impressive. But for the plays that he was making, and he's not easy to take down. I was not.
No.
Like, he was hard to get taken down. He was running over to my sideline, and I was like, yo, this kid
I mean,
is not going down.
He's 6'1" with legit low 4.3, high 4.2 speed. Like that's just that's built in a lab, and they're gonna find ways to design him touches because his jog is faster than a lot of people's sprint. And when you have someone that's that fast, you just got to find a way to get him the football. And they did that in this game, which granted, it was the same play both times with that end around counter, but both times it worked and no one could tackle him. They've got to get him the ball more. Usman Kroma, he is going to get the ball a lot as we go forward because he is a grown man already.
That one run, his second run,
he had a few.
His second run was. He's physical,
he had a few
man.
where you're like, you got to check this dude's birth certificate because there's no way he's 18 or 19.
Yeah, you gotta take off the helmet, make sure James Wilder Jr. is not in there wearing that 32. I love it. I love that he's wearing 32 because he's a physical back and he doesn't give a damn who you are. He'll run over you. Just hope that you're not. Just hope he's not coming head on to you because. This kid likes to hit, and he has a lot of confidence as well. And you can tell Gus Malzahn believes in him. But overall, I mean, I got to give props to Gavin Sawchuk. We saw Keziah Holmes as well. Like this whole running back room, it was a full-on rotation between all these guys, VZ. But that run from Gavin Sawchuk, and then just seeing the effort from Sawchuk, and then seeing the guys behind him pushing him, like. That is what everyone wants to see is FSU play like Florida State. And it plays with physicality, and you play fully throughout the whistle, and then you get ready and you do it on the next damn play. And that's exactly what I thought the representation of what hopefully this seems like what this team is going to be was that play of Gavin Sawchuk of not giving up and making it to the end zone. And that's how the whole day looked in this game. They dominated. They wanted to be out there more. They wanted to play football. They want to play Smashmouth football. They want to hit you. And that's exactly what, Florida State fans are loving about this right now.
Yes, oh my goodness, 7 different Florida State players had a rushing attempt, and 6 of them had over 3.5 yards per carry. 4 different players had a rushing touchdown. None of the running backs had more than 7 carries. That's just going to be this room this year. If they're willing to do that against Alabama, they're going to be willing to do that against anybody they come against. And I think as the season goes, Kroma will start to get a little more carries because he even led the running back room in this game with 7 carries. The rest of the room pretty much all had 6.
That's true.
No Cam Davis was a little interesting, I will say. No Sam Singleton besides that one really bad kickoff return. But it's a talented running back room. Very talented running back room. Like we all thought they would have last year, but they didn't have the offensive line for. This year they got it.
Yeah, they did. Let's jump over to the defense. What are your thoughts on the trenches there? Because, Daryl Jackson, that was my biggest thing. What is Daryl Jackson looking like? What were your thoughts on that defensive line in the pass rush?
D-Jack got double teamed a lot, especially early. He was getting combo blocked often. But I thought Daniel Lyons really made the most of his opportunities. He got in the backfield a few times. James Williams.
Give him props. My props right here. I was questioning. I was on me right here. I'm not eating crowd. I didn't say, but I was a little concerned. I was concerned. I mean, as we all were. I mean, we're a little concerned about the defensive line going into the season. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, James Williams, he started slow, but he was also getting held a lot in that first quarter.
Yeah.
Where people thought he was losing contain. He was just getting held. He really was. But he got in the backfield a lot in that second half. He's got to get better about finishing plays off, but he was at least there. He was in a position to make a play, and
Bringing
again, that wasn't
a lot of pressure. He was
a
bringing
lot
a
of
lot of
pressure.
pressure. If you want pressure, that's what James Williams was bringing.
Yeah. Diggs had some nice plays. McCray had a nice play or two. They used Stephon Thompson as an edge rusher, which I thought was a little interesting, and he
Yeah.
smoked Caden Proctor. I mean, he
Yeah.
bullied him, and that's a top 10 pick in April. It just
Yeah.
absolutely bullied him. They started slow, but as the game got on, that defensive line definitely made an impact. I was most impressed with the linebackers, though. The linebackers
Yeah.
are so good. There's a couple plays here and there
Yes.
where Omar Graham was a little out of position, but Juice Cryer was phenomenal. Blake Nicholson was in position
Yeah.
more
Blake.
times
I
than
thought
he
Blake had a good
wasn't.
game.
Elijah Herring made some plays. That linebacker room was as good as I've seen it. And we said it when we were talking about our camp preview about this linebacker room on paper is the best unit they've had in decades. And they played their asses off.
They did. They did. I loved it. Loved seeing Juice Cryer. When I talked about communication earlier in the show,
Yeah.
that was Juice Cryer. That was also
Yep.
Earl Little. That was also Quindarius Jones when he's out there. Definitely, that was on Jerry Wilson. You knew starting cornerback over there from Houston, the transfer. All communication, man. All, and you can tell Tony White has had that engraved into their heads. That is just stuck in there, and that's going to play a big part moving forward. Definitely, whenever you are in those tough situations. Luckily, Florida State was able to lead this game going in the second quarter. But like whenever things are going to get tough, and they will see that this season, communication is going to come to play a massive part and moving forward. But yeah, I thought, DBs flying. Yeah, there's some open plays that's just going to happen, and then it's the first game of the season. Things like that are going to happen. But I thought guys were flying the ball from the defensive backs. You have some studs, man. Ashland Barker, man. I mean,
Asher
that
Barker
kid
is
is
super
good.
impressive.
Yeah.
Super impressive.
Yes. Dude, there's a heavier. We saw Charles Lester out there as well. Quindarius Jones. Like, there's a heavy rotation in that cornerback room.
Quindarius, they seem to target when he was out there. Like they seem to pass to his side of the field when he was out there. But I thought Jabril Rawls played a really solid game. He missed that one tackle on Alabama's touchdown in the second half. But otherwise, I thought he played really well, was willing to be physical. We've already talked about Earl Little Jr. just being a dog out there. Ashland Barker was great. And Jerry Wilson, I only remember him getting targeted once, and
He had
it
a
didn't stand
quiet
a
night.
chance. And that's what you want.
That was on clamps. That's what the kids say. Where the clamps, it's locked up, whatever it is. I don't know. Dustin will put it. I don't know what they do, but but Jerry had a quiet night, so that means that he had a good night.
Yeah.
Cornerback wise for him, and he was flying around, guys coming over PBUs, finishing. That's the thing, man. Just finishing plays, acting like you want to be out there, and they want to be out there way more than Alabama. And of course, it helps too when you have Doak Campbell Stadium absolutely rocking. Absolutely rocking. It was super fun to be there and just hear the crowd noise. I mean, the Florida State's fan base. Shout out to you guys. I mean, y'all were incredible. It was a pleasure for me to be out there in the stands. Now I don't even want to go back up to the press box. Screw the press box. I want to be out there, enjoy, and have a couple beers and tailgate and be out there. But no, it was. I thought the defense played good. The passer, Daniel Lyons. I was concerned about him. He made plays tonight, and it was impressive to see. And Daryl Jackson's gonna be Daryl Jackson. They're gonna have two people on him, no matter what the case was. He was really physical though at the line, and that irritated that Alabama offensive line, man. It really did. It irritated the hell out of me. I loved some of the blitzes coming in. I mean, Ty Simpson was rattled. It made it confusing. That's something that we all were hoping we'd see with Tony White's defense, is make things a little bit harder there for that quarterback, and that's exactly what he put together. Anything else from in here? Shout out to Weinberg too, Jake Weinberg. He had his first collegiate field goal. I don't know how long was that.
Well, he did actually have one last year. He had a 23-yarder last year, but I think the one tonight was 45. I could be wrong.
45. That's impressive. Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm trying to
45
see.
yards.
45 yards. Okay. Yeah, that was nice. And Oh Lord, had flashbacks there. Had
I
calling
know. I
timeout,
know.
icing your own kicker. I was like, oh God. I don't know what happened. Mike Norvell was not happy with someone not lined up correctly. So either they probably would have gotten penalized or something. I don't know. They had to seen
Yeah.
something because they were set up and ready to kick, but someone would have gotten flagged. So that's why they had to call a timeout. But that was definitely a crappy situation to
Yeah.
be in. You had a fluke there. Jalen Lucas is going to learn after that punt return and not getting so close to the ball. But the way that you respond and you do things that's Jalen Lucas. He responded and had a good game after that, and then hopefully, all right, we're back. StreamYard just had
Okay.
a crazy
Yep.
glitch. Anything else from your end, man? Like what? Here we are. Florida State is
Yeah.
1-0, just upset the country. Social media is going crazy. What a wild weekend of college football already. I think we got LSU Clemson right now.
Mhm.
What I know it's only one game, but Florida State's going to have two easier games coming up, two home games as well. Florida State, is on a strong path of starting off this season 3-0, and then they'll go up to Virginia for their
Yep.
first ACC game, and in about 3 weeks.
Game, bye week game, and then Virginia. So yeah, 4 weeks technically.
Yeah. Where are we thinking right now? We can't
Well,
change our.
yeah.
So
No,
we're 0
no,
and
we can.
1.
We
We're
can. We
no
can
no
do
no
it
no no.
different.
We're 0 and 1. We're 0 and 1 in our score predictions.
That's fine. I'm like we
Or
were.
our game predictions. I want to be so wrong. Trust me, I want to be
Yeah.
extremely
Same.
wrong.
Same. Like we were talking about before we started. I'm very happy to be wrong. I've never been happier to be wrong than picking Florida State to lose this game, and they come out and dominate. They really did.
Yeah.
I do want to give some love to Jaden Jones as well for that great play he made on Ty
Yeah.
Simpson. Um,
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anybody else that really deserves some love. Randy Pittman, I thought did a good job blocking out there. You didn't really expect that from him, being more of a receiving guy, but he did a good job blocking. Was trying to think of any other guys. The special teams is going to be a work in progress just because they're trying to break in so many new pieces. Jalen Lucas has to be better than that. I mean, he's an All-American returner, and he has to be better than that muff punt. But shout out to defense for turning over on fourth down just a few plays later. That was arguably the biggest sequence of the game right there. That could have been the game changing sequence, and instead Florida State's defense said, "No, we're good." Also, I can't believe we've gone nearly 30 minutes and not talked about the 4th and 1 from Florida State on their own 36, I think it
Yeah.
was, or 34
Drop
or
your
whatever
nuts
it was.
down, Mike.
And we've been burned on that a lot the last few years. Even the 13-0 season, they could
That's what you
not
get
convert
when you
4th
get
and
a good
1s.
offensive line, baby. That's what you
They
get to
could
do.
they couldn't convert 4th and 1s then, and they go up a line for. I'm like, please just try and draw them off sides. But they went for it. Roydell got 2 or 3 yards, and again, one of the biggest plays of the game right there, are arguably the biggest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Definitely expectations are going to be reset for everybody. You don't come out and beat Florida or beat Alabama and say, "Oh, this is a 6-6 football team," like we might have expected. We can talk about it in a future podcast, but I think 9-3 kind of has to be the floor now.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Hey, now I know. Now, and we're going to be able to see some games being played here.
Yeah,
We're going to get a good identity for some of these opponents coming up from Florida State. But yeah, the momentum. It was just great to see Mike. I was there, watch him do the Soldier Boy. Luke Pettibon
I know,
hitting
I
Pettibon,
know.
whatever. Him hitting the Soldier Boy,
That
absolutely
was great.
incredible.
It was
I'm
awesome.
going to tell you right now. I have it on my Twitter. I wish I could share. I might be able to figure it out on the phone here. But Luke Pettibon hitting the Soldier
I'll
Boy.
bring it up.
Oh, absolutely phenomenal stuff. The guys dancing. I'm very happy, even though this is a really new roster. I mean, you got 50 new players practically, new coaching staff practically. But for some of these guys that stuck around, wanted to come back, like Earl Little Jr., Daryl Jackson wanted to even, he wants to run it back. Omar Graham, like guys like that, like, happy for them. Very, 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 very happy for them. And just so good to see them smiling, laughing, dancing, seeing Mike Norvell smile, leaving the stadium, throwing the balls up to the marching Chiefs. Like, now that was not an easy stretch for Mike Norvell. And I think with the kind of his new role practically of being the CEO, if you want to call it that,
Yeah,
he
for sure.
it worked out well. It was nice for him. He could jump over to the defense after they made big plays. He could go over there. He didn't have to necessarily have to be there whenever the offense was on a drive, so he could be hands on with whoever it was. I was noticing that as well. But then Mike, man, I think he's definitely hush some people up. And when you do that, when you have a dominating win, I was talking to a few people leaving the stadium, and it wasn't like where FSU got away with this one and they won. It was a dominating,
Yeah.
powerful win from the team in Garnet and Gold tonight.
Yeah, no, I tweeted pretty much as the clock hit zeros, like there was nothing fluky about it. I mean, yeah, there was a couple penalties from Bama that extended drives, like a few late hits. But Florida State went out there and executed their game plan to perfection. That's really what you wanted. Um, it was great for Norvell. It was great for Gus too, because he comes from UCF, and we just talked about it last week where he gave up play calling halfway through the season because it wasn't working. It was working.
Yeah.
It was working today. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's also, I mean, there's Tommy eating the W coming out of the 2-minute timeout. Like they're all crowded around the camera. The game's not even over yet. Granted, they have to take 3 knees. Like it's basically over, but he's eating the W on camera. The offensive lines
Yeah.
hugging him. It was great to see. I'm jealous for everyone that was in Tallahassee and was able to make it to that game because, as we talked about, that atmosphere looked absolutely insane. I'm excited to see where this team takes it. Really, the pressure from here is how do they get used to success again? Because as you just mentioned, this is an entirely new team. They haven't really been around each other. Can they still have that consistent success and build from it? That's gonna be the important part. I'm sure Mike's gonna be telling them that, like, hey, this is just one win. And Juice and Earl Little, we're talking about, hey, it's just one win, but got to be able to prove it.
Yeah. Nope. Now it's all about building the consistency. And I like that. I think Tommy said after the game that there was, yes, a lot of celebrating on the sideline and everything before the game was over. And he said, that was great, but we're going to correct that. And you won't see a lot of that moving forward. So that's a thing. This is just game one. You got a long road ahead, and we're just beginning.
Long
But
road.
what a fun start. What a fun damn way to start off the season in Tallahassee and Doak Campbell Stadium. Massive upset, 31-17. Florida State puts a statement on, and all those haters, all those trolls, all those fools on Instagram and the comments and Twitter with their fake avatars. You can let it. I won't say it, but FSU fans can say "suck it." And shout out Lee Corso too.
Shout out Lee.
Man. Shout out Lee, man. The goat. The goat is
All
the
of it.
goats.
All of his former teams won today. That's something.
That's awesome. I love that. He deserves all of it. I was a little emotional there watching his last
Same.
pick, man. I don't know, because I mean we were youngins, man, starting to watch him, and that was just every morning I'm putting that on. I'm watching it with my dad and everything, and just to see his last one. I'm just glad that he's here with us to see the recognition and the thankfulness that we have and gratitude for him. And I would imagine hopefully this season we'll get Lee in person in Doak Campbell Stadium, and he'll get his salute and his ovation that he deserves. Because now I'll be up in Tallahassee a lot more now. This team is fun. This team is fun to cover again, and that's
Well,
great to
hopefully
say.
it continues that way. Hopefully this isn't a one-time thing. Which the
I think it'll be
physicality and
good.
the passion they were playing with, we should be okay. But
If you keep going with that, then it's
let,
gonna be tough to
yeah,
break you.
let's just not count any chickens before they hatch, as I heard a lot growing up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it for us, everybody. We'll be back probably earlier in the week. Not a, not a massive opponent you're facing like you did there with Alabama, but still, nonetheless, we'll give a full deeper dive into this game as well. Look over some film for you guys. So we'll go live on our YouTube. If you're on our YouTube right now, smash the like button, and also too, if you're new, it's definitely worth, I think, giving a subscription and subscribe to us. We deeply appreciate it. We got post-game stuff going out from pressers. We'll have practice updates as well for you guys, from Mike Norvell and the coaching staff, along with a few players too, here on our YouTube channel as well. But that's going to do it for us on Hear the Spear. Austin Veazey, Logan Robinson wrapping it up from Florida State's absolute dominating upset win in Tallahassee, 31-17. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Try not to drink too much. Actually, do whatever you want. Have a good time. See you guys.